Am I the butthole for uninviting 25 family members to my wedding 6 weeks to show time? I have had this Halloween wedding planned for 2 years. The venue I wanted has a wait list. All of a sudden, my mom and grandma decided the wedding was satanic and want me to make last-minute changes. I told my mom and grandma firm no. 2 years my family has known about this, and because I have told them no, half my mom's side thought they would be cute and say they aren't coming in a random-ass power struggle. I told them fine and canceled everyone invitations who complained or backed my mom or grandma on this. One of my sisters acted like she stepped out of bridesmaid duty, so I replaced her. It was about 25 people that decided to act stupid at less than 6-week mark, so I sent out uninvited invitation and I sent out new QR codes for those attending, and the venue will check in by only those to let people in. My aunt, who was one of the uninvited, told me people are allowed to disagree with me, and that doesn't mean can pull an invitation from a wedding that they have made plans to attend. I told my aunt they had 2 years for complaints, but saying you are not going at 6 weeks before my wedding is nonsense, and everyone fucked around and found out. I will not be bullied by my family over this. Am I the butthole for returning my homemade wife's birthday gift me and telling her I don't want it? I then went out and bought what I actually wanted. I need an outside opinion on this. This has been an ongoing issue that I have talked to her multiple times about. My wife makes less money than me and is the type of people who prefers to make her own gifts for people. The issue is she will do this even if the person doesn't want this. I will use myself as an example. For the past few years, she has made every single gift I have been given. No matter what I asked for, I get a homemade gift. Doesn't matter if it is cheap or not. Last Christmas, I asked for a few things, and I got a homemade scarf. I always get her stuff she wants. I have talked to her about this multiple times. My birthday was yesterday, and I asked her to give me a book. It was only $25, and I sent her the link. I opened the gift, and she made some homemade bookmarks. It wasn't even the type of bookmarks I like. They were made from fabric, and I like the wooden ones. I must have made a face because she asked what was wrong. I told her I didn't want these. I made it so clear what I actually wanted, and I have talked to her so many times. I handed them back and went out to buy the book. We had a big fight when I got back. She claims I am being ungrateful and a jerk. Am I the butthole for telling my mom to do something about all of the extra kids in our house, or I'm moving in with my dad? Update. I might have to stay and babysit because my mom and Mark told me that moving will be a one-time thing. I can't go back and forth when I get pissed off. Mark also told me I can either be a part of his family and contribute, or he stops treating me like his family and paying my tuition. I go to private school, driver's ed, won't buy me a car when I get my license, and won't pay for my college. I'll have to see what my dad can pay for before I move. My mom has been married to Mark for 5 years. He's a good guy and we usually get along. The thing is, he has a 10-year-old daughter that lived with his ex. They were in a big custody battle because she never let him see their kid, then she died, so their daughter had to move in with us. They also decided to take in the girl's 3 years old younger half-siblings, 7, 3, 1, because their dad is in prison and they were about to go into foster care. There's a lot of problems with this. 1. We do not have the space for all of these kids. We have a 4-bedroom house. I had to move into Mark's office so the other kids could get the bigger room next to my mom and Mark. 2. They're all terrified of men, so they won't let Mark get anywhere near them. My mom is the one that has to do everything with them, and when she needs a second person, she expects me to help. 3. They're all so emotional. There's so many stuffed animals and blankets and cups all around the house that will make someone have a meltdown if you touch. It's a lot, but I've been dealing with it. Mark took me to get some noise-canceling headphones and stuff for my new room, and he and my mom promised we'll be in a bigger house by Christmas. Yesterday, my mom and I got into an argument because while she was giving the older two their baths and getting them ready for bed, the 3-year-old started crying. My mom told me to go to their room and read a story before she wakes the baby up. I was watching TV, so I told her to have Mark do it, but she said no and told me to get up and read the story. I didn't want to, so the baby ended up waking up and she was pissed. She was saying this is a change for all of us and I need to help the family. I told her it's not my job to raise the kids she decided to take in, but she told me if I do that again, she'll shut off the Wi-Fi at night. I told her it's still not my job to raise the kids even if we don't have Wi-Fi, and she needs to do something about all of the extra kids in our house, or I'm moving in with my dad. Now she's pissed and Mark is saying I was being unreasonable, and it wouldn't have hurt to read for 5 minutes until she went back to sleep or my mom was able to get her. Am I the butthole for not helping and for telling my mom to do something about the extra kids or I'll move? Am I the butthole for telling my girlfriend it wasn't okay to wake me up in the middle of the night, even though she felt unsafe? So, this happened recently, and I'm not sure if I'm in the wrong here. My girlfriend called me in the middle of the night after being out drinking with friends. I had an extremely important and long workday ahead, she knew it, and I was already running on too little sleep. When she called, she said she missed me and just wanted to talk. I told her I really needed to sleep because of my early start and how tired I was. She asked if I could stay on the phone with her for another 10 minutes, and we ended up having a nice conversation before I went back to bed. The next day, I told her that while I understood she wanted to talk, it really wasn't okay for me to be woken up like that, especially when I had such a demanding day ahead. Her response was that she felt unsafe walking home at night and that she needed to hear my voice to feel better. I stick to my point. Then she said I was being in butthole for not understanding the female perspective and how unsafe it can feel to be alone on a street at night. Also that I am in butthole because she needed to ask for my help. I told her I get that it can be scary, but I still think she could have called someone else who was awake or even ordered a taxi instead of waking me up when I had such an important day ahead. I obviously want to be there for her when she needs me, but I still think it's unreasonable to wake someone up for a non-emergency in the middle of the night, especially when it's going to mess up their day. Am I the butthole? Am I the butthole for telling my sisters to take care of their own fucking kids? I'm 24M, the youngest of my parents' 3 kids. My older sisters are Sarah, 28F, and Liv, 26F. Sarah and Liv were BFFs growing up, always together, shared everything. The whole TV trope of close sisters. That was my sisters. The other part that was very TV-like was their anti-boy rhetoric and specifically anti-brother. They never liked me being near them and they'd always say I was embarrassing to them, that I was gross, which I wasn't dirty or anything, that they wanted sisters and not brothers, that boys weren't allowed to play whatever games they were playing. It hurt my feelings as a kid, and they were punished for being cruel on occasion. Not all the time, but it happened a few times, and I know our parents got concerned enough to try therapy. Both individual for us all and family therapy together. It was in family therapy when my sisters loudly proclaimed they would never love me or want a brother. They said boys are disgusting and nobody wants them, and they wanted someone to come and take me away forever, so they never had to see me again. My parents put a lot of focus into giving me outside focuses too, so the stuff with my sisters wouldn't destroy me. It wasn't always perfect. I did wish at a younger age that my sisters would care, but I had friends, hobbies, activities, and stuff to keep me distracted, and my parents kept working on my sister's treatment of me, because it went beyond just not being close. Their attitude toward me did not change. I was very much in the not family camp when Sarah got married, and when Sarah and then Liv started having babies. I was not included or invited to anything, even to meet their kids when they were born. I was not sent any announcements. My parents and other family got those. I'm not even their social media friend/follower. They both have accounts set to permission needed to follow. I'm truly over it/them by now. I know nothing will change, and honestly I don't want to and fudge the whole don't hold kids actions against them, because they have not been kids for years. Now they have some kids that are a bit older, and both sisters want to work. They tried to share a nanny and babysitter, but I guess they got tired of paying for both for different occasions. So they approached me to be a babysitter. They told me I should help take care of their kids since I'm supposed to be family, or whatever. I asked if they were serious, and then I rolled my eyes at them hard. They said I had a shitty attitude. I told them they can take care of their own fucking kids, and they won't be using me after 24 years of wanting my existence to go away. They accused me of being as bad as them for responding in the way that I did. Am I the butthole? Am I the butthole for not opening an email with hi name? I work in an office which shares a receptionist. The other day, I had a delivery coming, work-related, and emailed the receptionist and her backup saying, "Hi, I am expecting a delivery today from X. Kind regards, me." The response I got from the receptionist was, "Hi, I have a name." Its name. Was I the a-hole for not using her name when someone else was CC'd in the email, or is she being ridiculous? Just to note, I responded but made a point not to apologize. Hi name. I did not use your name in my email as backup receptionist was CC'd and I thought it unnecessary, but thank you for the friendly reminder. Am I the butthole for not also babysitting my brother's friend's kids while on vacation? I, F21, recently went on vacation with my brother, M34, his family, friends, and a few of their siblings. A lot of us grew up together, so vacations like this weren't uncommon, but this is the first one where everyone's kids were also coming along. My brother offered to pay for my whole vacation rather than the half he usually paid if I was willing to help with the kids, M7 and F4, for a day or two so he and his wife, Rose, could get some alone time. I agreed since they're good kids and I help out anytime I'm in the vicinity, anyways, as it's not uncommon for our culture. On the first night's dinner, one of my brother's friend's girlfriends, Ally, made an offhand comment about my brother having a vacation nanny while she was fussing with her kid while I was talking to Rose about their plans tomorrow when she mentioned the kids just staying the night in my room so that they didn't have to wake us up early to leave for their appointment. I agreed since I was watching them tonight anyways. I assume the problem started there since Ally showed up at my door after dinner trying to drop her kid off. I was fine with until she told him she would be seeing him tomorrow and conversation after went like this. Me, I don't mind him being here for a few hours, but he can't spend the night. Her, but they're spending the night? Me, yes. Her, so why can't he? Me, well, there's no room for him, and they're my brother's kids and are used to spending the night with me. We went back and forth a few times. Eventually, I just refused overall and apologized to the kid. I've been told a few storied and Ally is the type to just leave her kid anyways, regardless of the conversation, and I didn't feel like tracking her down later. While we were at the pool a few days later, I took the kids to the resort cafe for ice cream and offered to take the other kids. A few of the parents said no, and some of them gave me a weird look, so I asked my friend about it. Apparently at the breakfast the second day, Ally complained about what I did, and a few of them took her side. Later that night at dinner, a wife of my brother's friend asked if I could watch her kid tonight so they could go somewhere, and I said no, explaining that my niece and nephew were with their parents tonight so the younger siblings were all going out. She mentioned that since I was willing to take them earlier for ice cream and since they said no, I owe them, said it's not that big of a deal and I can go tomorrow instead. I just said sorry, I can't, and left it there. There were similar situations, and eventually my brother stepped in to say that he paid for my vacation, which is why I took a few days to help him, and that they could chip in if they wanted my help, but I talked to my mom and a few of my friends, and they pointed out that my brother actually got to enjoy his vacation unlike the others, and I could have taken, or offering to take the other kids when I was watching my niece and nephew. Am I the butthole for refusing to help my friend move after they ditched me on a road trip? So, a few months ago, my friend Sarah and I planned a road trip together. It was supposed to be a fun weekend getaway that we had been talking about for months. I took a day off from work, rearranged some plans, and even paid for a few things ahead of time like snacks, gas, and accommodation. On the day of the trip, Sarah bailed last minute, saying something came up with her family, which I totally understood at first. But then, a mutual friend posted on social media that Sarah had gone to a different city with another group of friends the same weekend. I was pretty hurt, but I didn't say anything at the time. Now, Sarah is moving to a new apartment and asked me to help her out with packing and moving furniture. She knows I have a truck and figured I could make the process a lot easier. I told her no, saying I was still upset about what happened with the road trip. She seemed shocked and said that I was being petty over something that happened months ago. She claims the other trip wasn't planned and just came together at the last minute, and she didn't think it was a big deal. AITA,